Well, hello everybody and welcome to Chef's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to be making something which is entirely new to me. I came across something called Mantecadas. That's not the correct pronunciation, I'm sure, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it. And these are basically sort of pastries or cakes which come from Spain, but the version I'm going to do is what I saw from several websites in Mexico, and basically they have yeast in them, so it helps the batter to rise, so to speak, which is different from most cakes. Now they're very simple to make and they look quite like muffins. Well, they should do if they turn out correctly. And these have got oil in them. Usually I would substitute butter instead of the oil, but I'm going to do it the traditional way, so I'll try with the oil for today. And the ingredients are, I should say, as I do the ingredients, I'm only going to make 6, just as an experiment. So you could double this if you wanted 12. 125 grams of plain flour, 2 medium eggs, that would be large in the USA, 1 teaspoon of instant yeast, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 120 millilitres of milk, 120 millilitres of oil, and 125 grams of caster sugar. You could use granulated. And I'm also going to use a pinch of salt. Now the first thing I'm going to do is to push everything to one side and get my bowl ready, and then just for the time being I'm going to put the yeast and the baking powder into the flour. I'm going to give that a stir around to get those mixed together. And then I'm just going to sprinkle a pinch of salt over the top. I didn't want to put the salt in with the flour, with the yeast. Try to keep it separate. Just a little pinch of salt over the top. And I'm going to set that flour aside. So then we'll mix our wet ingredients, and for that we'll put our eggs into a bowl. And we'll start to whisk them, and then we'll add the sugar, and we'll whisk the eggs and the sugar until the sugar is dissolved. Okay, the sugar is dissolved, and I forgot to say I also have a teaspoon of vanilla extract, so I'm going to pour that in now, and I'm going to pour the milk in, and I'm going to mix those together. And then I'm going to gradually pour in the oil and mix that in. And with that mixed, I'm then going to add the dry ingredients. And I'm going to add those a bit at a time. And I'll scrape down the bowl to get the excess flour mixed in. As you can see, we have a very runny mixture. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave that to stand now for 20 minutes. And while that's resting for 20 minutes, I'm going to preheat my oven to 200 Celsius, 180 Celsius with a fan, 400 Fahrenheit, and I'll come back then and pour this into the muffin tins and we'll bake them. Well, I've waited 20 minutes and the oven is preheated, so now I've put the batter into a jug for pouring. Now I'm just going to pour the batter into the cases just below the top, and with the batter poured in, I'm going to put those in the oven and I'm going to bake them for 20 minutes, and they should be nice and springy, and the yeast should make them rise, and they'll have a different texture to muffins, of course, more of a sort of bready type texture, I think. So I'll be back with you when I've taken them out of the oven. Well, the cake's baked and I've taken them out of the oven and I've allowed them to cool down. I actually had a couple of a little bit extra batter, so I made 2 loaf-shaped ones. I've eaten one of them. So I've just broken one open, and as you can see, they're nice and springy to the touch. And they do taste very good. So they're different to a muffin and a cupcake, with a slightly more open texture than the muffin. Very easy to make. So I think you can flavour it with orange extract or maybe lemon extract. You could do various things, I'm sure. So that's it for this recipe. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below the video and click on the subscribe to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen, as ever, there will be an eye that you can click on, which will take you to my blog, and you can see the recipe there, and I'll also put a link to that below the video, and I'll be back with another video in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.